Coming up on today's Friday First.
We find out why teenagers are being encouraged to find out more about dementia.
What does the Manchester Museum think about the selfie stick?
Why is fishing becoming so popular with young people? Bradley Harris has got his tackle out to find out for us.
And I'm in the studio to talk Avengers. Spoiler, I #loved it!
Good afternoon, welcome to this edition of Friday First.
It's nearly the weekend, so we're here to bring you the very best from Keys from the week. First today.
You may not associate dementia with young people, but a 13-year-old from Salford deals with the disease almost every day.
Libby Calvert helps to take care of her grandma who was diagnosed with Alzheimer's 18 months ago. And now under 18s are being encouraged to learn more about dementia.
Carly Foster has this report.
Hi, Lib. Most days after school I go to Nana's house. I choose to help her wash up. We play games. And we even go running together.
Leslie Calvert may seem energetic, but her granddaughter Libby has to help her with the simplest of things.
When Nana got dementia, she's become very forgetful. I have to remind my Nana to put a patch on or have a medication. It's frustrating for you as well because, say, my Nana upsets me by saying something. It's like not the first thing that comes to your mind.
Libby is more than just her nan's carer. She is a dementia friend. A dementia friend is someone who has a better understanding of what it's like for people to live with the disease. Coronation Street actress Judy Holt's son is another young person who has signed up to be a dementia friend. Jack and Judy both help to look after Charlie, who is in the late stages of dementia.
It's sort of, in a way, self-rewarding, knowing that you can keep someone who might not have as much company as others. It's quite shocking that it affects so many people, and it's saddening, which is why I'm trying to promote the Alzheimer's Society as best as it can be.
Jack has no relatives with the illness, but wants to show his support since his mum played Leslie Kershaw, a character who had Alzheimer's.
Statistics from Alzheimer's Society show that nearly a third of young people in the UK know someone with dementia. 2/3 of them young people would like to help someone with dementia. And in the next 10 years, 1 in 64 million people in the UK are expected to develop the illness.
Joy Watson has a unique way of enlightening kids in primary schools about dementia.
I think visual things work best. My Christmas tree just goes to illustrate that sometimes things don't go quite right and the lights don't stay on, they flicker. And the children seem to be able to understand that sometimes Nanny's brain isn't making the right connections somehow.
But Susan Maloney, the manager of Busy Bees Childcare in Salford, believes having dementia classes in primary schools is a lesson too early.
It's too young for them to understand. Dementia is a very difficult subject and very confusing subject, and children of that age, they're not always able to have an understanding of it.
For Libby, educated or not, each moment she spends with her nana is precious. As precious as the memories she hopes will last forever. Carly Foster, Keystv News.
The invention of the selfie stick has been a global hit. However, galleries in London and Disney World have taken a dim view and banned them.
George Dove went to the Manchester Museum to see what they think on the matter.
Selfie sticks are the latest craze to take the technological generation by storm. However, they've not received a great reception at our country's galleries and museums.
The National Gallery in London placed an embargo on selfie sticks because they are classified as tripods, which are already prohibited in the gallery. Galleries and museums in America, such as the Museum of Modern Art in New York, have banned them on health and safety grounds amidst concern for the artworks as well as visitors. It's not just galleries and museums that have banned the use of the attachments, as Tottenham Hotspur have banned football fans from using selfie sticks whilst in their stadium, also on the grounds of health and safety.
Tourists in Manchester won't come across the same problem, as places like this, the Manchester Museum, on social media themselves have no problem with visitors taking photographs, sharing them, or even using selfie sticks.
I think it's really important to encourage people to take photos, and if that means saying bring your selfie sticks, that means they're more likely to take photos, is really good, particularly for a younger generation, because what we want to do is we want our content, our objects to travel as far and as wide as possible. The best way to do that is for people to share them on their social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. So any way we can encourage them to do that is really great news for us.
The museum post their own photos to their Instagram account to show people what's going on, who's there, and to increase levels of interaction with the visitors. Although the museum is in favour of selfie sticks, this doesn't mean they will necessarily be seen on the site.
It's a bit embarrassing. It just seems to be getting bigger and bigger, this selfie craze. But I can't really see a reason to ban them. Maybe from galleries, public places, because they're a bit of a nuisance.
I don't take many selfies myself, but when you do need it, you want to get the background in, don't you? So you need to get a bit of reach while you do them. So I don't think they should ban. I think if anything, they're a good thing.
I don't think there should be a reason to ban them because I think it's quite innovative. It gets people to take pictures more. But then at the same time, I think you can just stretch out your hand and do the same thing. You get just maybe a couple of centimeters more in when you got a stick. But yeah, it's a cool idea.
With few in support of any ban, whether they're selfie stick converts or otherwise, it seems that the Manchester Museum has taken the correct stance on the matter. However, judging by the public's reaction, the museum may not become a hotspot anytime soon.
Now, if you think there's something fishy going on in Manchester, then you might just be right.
Our reporter Bradley Harris got his tackle out in Bolton to see why young people are starting to get hooked on fishing.
Fishing, a hobby enjoyed by millions of people, is fast becoming one of the most popular sports in the country. And now a charity is keen to get young people literally hooked on fishing.
There's projects dotted around the country. Each one is funded quite differently depending on funding streams and the kind of groups that they work with. But we all have a focus of getting young people engaged in the sport of angling to try and divert them away from crime, antisocial behaviour, to improve their behaviour levels in schools or, in the general community.
Get Hooked on Fishing is a charity that claims it can provide good opportunities for young people and also boost their confidence for people like me who want to take on the sport.
Some are still working with me, and they're now 18-ish. Their parents have told me that without fishing, their kids wouldn't have had anything to focus on.
The charity have said that research proves fishing can help people transform their lives, and it's communities like this one in Bolton where they are doing just that.
Through my behaviour in school, so the school put me on courses and they said I can go do certain things, and I chose fishing because I want to get into it. It calms me down if I get stressed. Say if I get stressed at home, I just come fishing and it calms me down.
Some might say the increase in young anglers isn't welcomed, but as we spoke with a long-serving fisherman, it was clear this wasn't the case.
Well, more young uns the better. The more young uns, because if you've learned out, right, you can always tell them. Are you with me? Put this into it, it gives them a different perspective. There's something to look forward to. There's something away from going home, having no food on the table, getting beat up, arguments, seeing your mum and dad booze it, whatever, it doesn't matter. But coming here, it's like a break from it. And if you can keep doing it, then, obviously, it'll make you a better person.
Get Hooked on Fishing was created to help young people stay clear of antisocial behaviour and inspire generations to take part in a sport that's managed to change people's lives for the better.
Oh, OK.
Bradley Harris, Keys News, Bolton.
That's not bad, that.
In university sport, the rivalry between Salford and Manchester is set to heat up this weekend as the two universities' rowing and rugby sides compete against each other for the varsity weekender. The action will start on Saturday at the two cities' boat race taking part on the Salford Quays.
There's a massive rivalry between Salford and Manchester. We've been doing this race for 48 years now, won it a couple of times. Won it in 2013, which is the last one, aiming to win it again in this year.
The girls have got quite a good record from 2009 we won, the fresher girls won in 2013. So yeah, hopefully this year might be able to pull something out of the bag, who knows, we just don't know, it's all to play for really.
On Thursday, the captain of the rugby team, Alex Davidson, came into the studio to speak to our sports reporter, Ben Senior.
But now it's time to hear from the Salford Rugby League team. Captain of the side, Alex Davison, joins me now. So Alex, it's Salford against Manchester. Just how big is this game?
It's hard to describe how big this game really is without being involved in it. It's a massive event for the guys that are involved. Everyone from 1 to 20 really want to be involved in this game. There's some guys going to be upset that they're not going to be involved. But it's massive for the crowd as well. They really get behind it. And I hope everyone gets behind the rowing as well.
So I heard that Manchester didn't play the first team last time out. Do you feel that gives you the upper hand?
I feel like they didn't play him to keep him fresh for Monday. Hopefully that won't make much of a difference to us. But yeah, they definitely hold him back for this one.
Now it's at the AJ Bell Stadium, and you of course are a former Salford City Reds player. How's that for you?
It's fantastic. I love playing at the AJ Bell. It's a fantastic surface. But it's bigger even for the guys that have never played there before or will get very few chances to play at that stadium. It's a huge event for them guys and they should really enjoy it.
And you're the captain, what will you be saying to your team to big themselves up for this one?
I won't be telling them to do anything different, I'll just tell them to go out and play their own games. I know that guys have got the experience, they've got the skill levels to win this game, so I'll tell them to go out there and just play like I know they can play.
Okay, thanks, and that's Monday?
Yeah, it's Monday at 7:30.
Tom Percival broke his curfew and stayed up late on Wednesday night to see the Avengers. So, Tom, what did you think?
Well, I was massively excited for this film. So when Wednesday came at midnight, it was like Christmas. So excited. I tell you what, I love this film. It was perfect for me. That brilliant blend of action, comedy, even a little bit of romance that I really wasn't expecting. The film tells the story of Tony Stark, Iron Man, who accidentally, as you do when you're a genius in a comic book movie, creates an artificial intelligence called Ultron that decides it could probably do a better job of saving the world than the Avengers, and then they smash into each other essentially.
So what was your favourite scene?
Favourite scene has to be Iron Man versus the Hulk. It was a really, really good scene, mainly because, like I said, it was that good blend of action and comedy that Joss Whedon does so well. But for me, the real standout moment of it was so often in superhero films now, we see an awful lot of the super. I'm thinking of Man of Steel, where smash through things have to be bigger, explosions, please, more explosions and all that. But here, it was more about the humanity of the scene. We saw the sort of the damage these gods can do to things and saving people. And, it was just a nice, warm moment in the film.
Now, I know I shouldn't say this to a film buff, but I haven't actually seen any of the Marvel films. Could I watch this without seeing the previous ones?
I have been pre-warned that you are a Marvel. You've not seen many Marvel films. No, I think, yeah, you can. It is starting to get to the point where there is a lot of complexity between the film's characters who you might not know, because they're not really famous in terms of comic books. But I think Joss Whedon does a good job of balancing that throughout the whole film.
I'll take your word for it and go and see it.
So, characters, what was your favourite?
Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye, shockingly for me, was my favourite. He's really, really on target in this film. Absolutely loved it. We saw more of his backstory. He's not really been given much room to breathe in the other movies because he was controlled by Loki, obviously, last time. Now in this, we see his backstory, where he goes when he's not avenging, all that. So, yeah, he was probably the standout. Also, James Spader's Ultron himself, absolutely brilliant. I mean, we're talking the same vein as Tom Hiddleston's Loki, that sort of manic villain, very glib, very funny, but also quite dark and scary.
Yeah.
Someone who's not in the film is Spider-Man. Did that take you by surprise, maybe?
I tell you what, I lost a quid at the bookies because I would have sworn that Spider-Man was going to be in this film. But no, he didn't. Marvel obviously reacquired him recently. Sony originally had the license. Now he's completely gone. But he wasn't in this film, unfortunately.
Okay, and in one word, how would you sum up the film? In a word, let's say.
Brilliant!
Awesome. Well, there you go.
Fair enough. With the weather having been so glorious for the past week, it's pretty unfortunate that we have to tell you it's set to take a pretty sour turn for the weekend.
If you're planning to go out, you might want to retrieve your coat from the rain cupboard, as heavy showers are forecast over the next weekend and into next week.
That's all we have time for. Thanks for joining us today.
The team will be back on Wednesday with Keys News at 2:30. Have a fab weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.